So we're doing a deep dive today into a really intricate criminal conspiracy. It's quite a story.
Yeah, it really is. We're talking about 6 years of planning, crossing borders.
Palestine to Egypt. And it all comes down to this plot. A wife against her husband, driven by years of resentment.
And it ends, tragically, in the Egyptian desert. But let's start right where it really heats up, at the discovery.
Okay, where are we?
March 2021. Bedrashan Giza Governorate, Egypt. Picture this. Dry, dusty air. A farmer's out near his fields.
Right.
And he sees something odd. Something bundled, half-submerged in a Masraf Sahi that's a local sewage drain. Stagnant water. Grim scene.
Ugh. Okay, so the police are called in.
They are. They retrieve the body. It's a man, fully clothed, which is, a bit strange if it was just a robbery.
Yeah, usually they take everything.
Exactly. But all his valuables are gone. Looks like a straightforward, if brutal, mugging at first glance. But there's one thing left behind.
What's that?
Tucked away in his back pocket. A passport.
A passport. They left ID. That seems careless.
Or maybe intentional. We'll get to that. The passport identifies him. Kader Shinbari, 41 years old. Palestinian citizen.
Okay.
And here's the kicker, the really crucial detail. He'd only been in Egypt for 20 days.
20 days. Wow. That's nothing.
Barely landed.
Yeah.
So the immediate question is, what on earth happened to Kader in those, 3 weeks?
Right. To understand the murder, you can't just look at those 20 days, can you?
No, you absolutely have to rewind years back. You have to understand the relationship he had with the person closest to him. His wife.
Hania Ali Gubber.
That's her. Let's
Right.
go back to 2005. Kader's 25. She's about 21, 4 years younger. They get married.
And they start a family.
Up one, right?
Yeah. 6 kids over the next 10 years. So from the outside, looking in, probably seemed like a normal, maybe even happy family life.
But appearances can be deceiving, as they say.
Very much so here.
Yeah.
The information suggests the relationship really soured over time. And the main driver seems to have been financial pressure.
More kids, less money. That's a classic stressor. Exactly. Kader's ability to provide apparently declined as the family grew, and this seems to have built up a lot of resentment, certainly on Hania's side.
Okay, but then there's this conflict in the story, isn't there?
Yeah.
About abuse.
Right. This is where it gets really interesting and, frankly, quite murky. Later on, Hania claims Kader was abusive, physically abusive to her and the children.
Trying to justify her actions, perhaps?
It certainly looks that way, especially when you compare it to what others said. Their neighbors back in Palestine, they completely contradicted her story, uniformly.
What did he say?
They described Kader as a good father, dedicated, someone who really cared about his kids' happiness. It paints a very different picture.
So the abuse claim seems convenient, at least. Maybe not the real root cause.
It strongly suggests the motive wasn't self-defense or escaping abuse. It points more towards, malice, resentment over their life, their financial situation.
And she fixated on one solution, not divorce.
Never divorce, that's key. From about 2017 onwards, her one single goal appears to be getting rid of Kader permanently. And crucially, doing it in a way that would leave zero trace back to her. That was always the focus.
A 6-year obsession.
Okay.
So 2017 is when she starts actively plotting.
Yes, that's when the first concrete plan seems to emerge. She starts pushing Kader really hard to leave Palestine, find work abroad.
But he didn't want to go.
No, he wanted to stay with the family, with his kids, but she was relentless. Eventually, she wears him down, convinces him their only hope is illegal immigration to Europe.
Okay, so he agrees to this dangerous journey.
He does. But here's the truly dark part. Hania wasn't just sending him off. She was secretly coordinating with the smuggler who was arranging the boat trip.
Coordinating. How?
She gave him instructions and payment.
Huh?
The instruction was to throw Kader overboard, mid-journey, in the middle of the sea.
Just murder him at sea.
Yes, cold-blooded. But then she calls it off. Last minute.
She had a change of heart. Second thoughts.
Doesn't seem like it was morals or love kicking in. It was purely tactical. She realized the flaw in the plan.
What's that?
What if someone else on the boat survived? What if they reported the murder? The smuggler would be caught, right?
And he'd immediately point a finger at her to save himself.
Exactly. So she aborted the plan, not because it was wrong, but because the risk of her getting caught was too high. Risk assessment, pure and simple.
Incredible. So that plan fails. She needs a new approach. Someone maybe more controllable, closer.
Precisely. Which brings us to 2021. She needs a new pawn.
Enter the internet.
Right. Facebook. Hania is 37 now, still married, still plotting. She connects online with Mohammed Ibrahim Ramadan. He's Egyptian, 25 years old, works in a plastics factory.
And crucially,
Crucially, he's described as a registered offender, already known to the police.
that seems significant. Potentially easier to influence. Or maybe just less risk-averse.
Perhaps both. And Hania plays this masterfully. She starts feeding him details about her unhappy life, carefully grooming him, building this connection.
Seducing him, basically.
Essentially, yes. She eventually tells him she's in love with him, wants to marry him, but there's just one obstacle.
Her husband, Cotter.
Cotter. He's the only thing standing in their way, according to her narrative. Mohammed is completely taken in. Hook, line, and sinker. Ready to do whatever she asks.
And he gives her the next step she needs.
He does. He tells her, okay, if we're going to be together, you need to come to Egypt. Bring the whole family, Cotter, the kids, everyone. Come here and I will handle the problem.
Which is exactly what she wanted. She needed Cotter on Egyptian soil where Mohammed could operate.
Bingo. It gives her the perfect excuse.
So how does she convince Cotter to uproot the entire family and move to Egypt?
Another calculated deception. She tells him she's found a connection, supposedly through a friend's husband. A broker in Egypt who can get him good work, find them a place to live, sort everything out.
And Cotter, desperate for a solution, buys it.
He does. He wants to provide for his family. This sounds like the answer. So in March 2021, they arrive. Cotter, Hania, and all 6 children.
And guess who meets them, playing the role of the helpful broker?
Mohammed, of course. He even rents them an apartment in Badrashin. And where does he rent it?
Let me guess. Right next door to his own place.
You got it. Right next door. Maximum convenience for planning and for the affair.
Okay, so this is the start of those final 20 days. The countdown begins.
It does. And Cotter, he trusts Mohammed completely. This guy is his lifeline, his only friend, his fixer in this new country.
While Cotter's out pounding the pavement, looking for these jobs, Mohammed supposedly is lined up.
Often encouraged by Hania to go out, keep looking.
Mohammed and Hania are together, in the apartment, plotting.
Plotting the murder, yes, and carrying on their affair. And just get this, Hania is pregnant.
Pregnant with her 7th child during all this.
Yes, pregnant. But completely focused on the affair and the intricate details of how they're going to kill her husband, the father of her children, including the one she's carrying.
The level of compartmentalization is staggering.
It really is. So they're strategizing. And Mohammed decides he needs backup for the actual act.
He's not going to do it himself.
No. He outsources the wet work, essentially. He contacts Magbi al-Baghdadi, 51 years old, lives in Saqqara.
And let me guess.
Another registered offender. Mohammed pays him specifically to carry out the murder.
So now we have Hania, the mastermind, Mohammed, the lover and facilitator, and Magdi, the hired killer.
That's the core team. The plan is set.
How do they lure Cotter?
March 20th, 2021. Mohammed calls Cotter, says, "Great news! Found some solid job opportunity."
Playing the helpful broker role to the end.
Exactly. They spend the whole day together, visiting potential workplaces, talking about the future, cementing that trust one last time. This goes on until evening.
Then what?
On the way back home, supposedly, Mohammed suggests a quick detour, says he needs to pick something up from his place.
But he takes an unusual route.
Yeah. Cotter apparently notices. The path is strange, it's deserted, quiet, off the main track. But he's with Mohammed, his friend, right? So he doesn't suspect anything fatal.
He trusts him.
He trusts him, and that trust is broken in the most brutal way possible. In this desolate, isolated spot, Magdi appears.
Just emerges from the fields.
Like an ambush. He's carrying a shuma, basically, a heavy, thick club, and he just attacks Cotter viciously.
Oh, God.
Hits him repeatedly on the head, fractures his skull, makes absolutely sure he's dead.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
So Cotter is dead. What do Mohammed and Magdi do then?
They rob him, take his money, his phone, anything valuable, make it look like a robbery.
But they leave the passport. Deliberately.
Deliberately leave the passport in his back pocket. That was part of their plan, remember? For quick identification.
Okay. And then they need to dispose of the body.
Right. They bring in one more person, a 4th accomplice, Said Eid al-Asali. He's 22, owns a tuk-tuk.
A getaway driver, essentially.
Yeah, more like a transport service for the body. They use his tuk-tuk to move Cotter's body to that sewage drain, the Masraf Sahi, and dump it there, where the farmer eventually finds him.
The whole thing is just meticulously planned, step by step.
Every stage was thought out. The lure, the ambush, the cleanup, the disposal.
So the body's dumped. What's the immediate next step for Hania and Mohammed?
Mohammed sends Hania a message on Facebook, basically saying, job done, confirmed.
On Facebook.
Seriously.
Seriously. We'll come back to that critical error.
Yeah.
Then they wait 2 days, let a little time pass.
And then?
Then they walk into the police station together to file a missing person report for Kadar.
Playing the part of the worried wife and the helpful friend?
Exactly. Their calculation was, okay, the body will be found quickly because of the passport. It'll look like a robbery murder. By filing the report, they appear cooperative, grieving, deflects any possible suspicion away from them.
Almost clever.
Almost. But they made some huge miscalculations, didn't they?
Yeah.
Especially about the police.
Massive miscalculations. They underestimated the investigators. The police already had the body, already ID'd Kadar thanks to that passport they so helpfully left.
So the investigation wasn't starting from scratch when they walked in.
Not at all. The police knew who the victim was, and they knew he'd only been in Egypt 20 days. So who did he know? Who were his contacts?
Mohammed, the broker, his only real contact.
And not just any contact, a registered offender. That's an immediate red flag for the police, right? He's instantly person number 1 on their list.
So Mohammed was flagged straight away. What about Hania?
Standard procedure in spousal death often involves looking closely at the spouse, so suspicion naturally falls on her too. Investigators start digging into their connection.
And they used Facebook.
And they used Facebook for everything. The grooming, the planning, the coordination, and that final confirmation message. That was the fatal flaw.
They managed all the physical logistics, moving countries, hiring killers, staging a scene, but failed completely on digital security.
Totally.
Yeah.
The investigators, suspecting the affair and her involvement, got access to those messages, all of it. The entire plot laid bare in their Facebook chat history.
So picture this. Hania and Mohammed walk into the police station, ready to put on their performance.
Thinking they've got the perfect cover story, ready to act distraught.
And instead, the police basically say, thanks for coming in. We've already read your messages confirming the murder.
Pretty much exactly that. They were confronted, right there and then, with printed copies of their own incriminating Facebook messages, including Mohammed's job done message.
Wow. Arrested on the spot.
Instantly, the perfect plan crumbled because of a digital footprint they never thought would be traced.
It's just such a contrast, isn't it? The years of careful, sinister planning. The multiple accomplices, the international move, the staged robbery.
All that complexity, undone by, well, traceable DMs. It's almost bafflingly arrogant or naive, maybe both.
What happened to them in the end? And Magdi.
The wheels of justice turned relatively quickly in this case. In 2023, Hania, Mohammed, and the hitman, Magdi al-Baghdadi, were all sentenced to death.
And the fourth accomplice, the tuk-tuk driver.
The sources focus mainly on the 3 primary conspirators receiving the death penalty.
Hania. The descriptions from the courtroom.
Yeah, reportedly quite dramatic. She was seen crying, holding her newborn baby, the 7th child she was pregnant with, during the plotting. Trying to evoke sympathy, it seems.
Despite orchestrating the murder of the father for 7 children.
Exactly. 7 children left without a father, directly because of her actions. Kadar's body, by the way, was eventually returned to Palestine. He got a proper burial back home.
Such a tragic end. And it leaves you with this really disturbing question, doesn't it?
It really does.
What kind of mindset, what level of, I don't know, deep-seated malice and utter self-absorption does it take to plot for 6 years to kill your spouse, your partner, the father of your children?
To try it once and fail, then regroup and try again.
All while living with him, raising those kids, even carrying another one of his children during the final stages of the plot. It's hard to comprehend that level of sustained deception and coldness.
It really is. That chilling dedication, that psychological aspect. That's maybe the most haunting part of this whole story for you to think about.